was pressing up hundreds of thousands of CDs, 500s of thousands of flyers, going to every beauty shop, every barber shop, every club, passing them out, giving people free music. It was a movement, it was a campaign. That with all the hard work we did, once you put it together, it was like lightning in the bottle. It was like fire, I felt it.
So when I start these off, I like to get in my drum voice. I think it's only right with this. You know, I say something like, we had a goal in mind. Feed the streets. I think we accomplished that. It's so many lines, it's so many bars, there's so many places I could go. Tell Lake to holla at me. I've been on fire recently. Snowman, holla at me.
Yes, that talk, baby.
Do you realize that, you know, I've been a mixtape DJ for quite some time before we met.
Right.
But you have a lot to do with that talk.
Right.
You know, like even with Gangsta Grillz, like when I first started Gangsta Grillz, you know, it being a mixtape series that was compiled of the hottest records, southern records, and then you know I did a version that was all T.I. and Grand Hustle, and then we linked up.
Right.
And I'm gonna get into, you know, the intricacies of our collaborations, but just that talk in general, you know, so like I feel like before me, mixtape DJs just did a lot of like shout outs and, you know, like shout to 125th Street or shout my man Jay or whatever. And then when we came along and we were doing our projects, like, you know, because you was motivating the thugs and you was motivating the niggas in the streets.
Right.
It was like I had to almost, in a sense, I felt like maybe match that energy and like, you know, talk that talk. And you pushed me in a lot of ways to do that.
Because I knew personally, like, you know, you definitely had the voice and the delivery, right? And for me, I just knew how big mixtapes was, coming from being in like Florida, hustling down there when I was younger, how big the Jam Pony Express scene was, you know what I'm saying? Like we used to drive all the way down there to get Jam Pony cassettes, and that's how we knew what was hot, right? And when I started hearing the Gangsta Grillz, I got that same feeling, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what's, if you ain't on this, you ain't popping, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I was just like, you know, when I first heard, and it's, you know, if you really sit down and think about it, the name itself is, you know, it's catchy, it's solid. You want to be a part of that, right? And my whole thing was, you know, I'm just one of them dudes, I just want to pass on inspiration, like motivation. So when I came around, like, you know, and we started doing projects or whatever, like I wanted to be able to tell you, like, no, we gotta go harder. You know what I mean? No matter how hard that shit was, I'm gonna be in there with you. We gotta bring it back. You know, we gotta bring the record back 5 times instead of 2, because I just want that extra umph. But even, you know, since Streets is Watching, that's what made it classic. You know what I mean? The collaborative effort. You know, it wasn't just like I turned the music in and just came back and got the tape. Like we talked, you know, consistently about what it, you know, should look like, feel like. And we had a lot of conversations to make a masterpiece, you know what I'm saying? Probably, you know, I tell people that, man. A lot of people don't believe me, man. It's like one of the best decisions I ever made. You know what I'm saying? It was the best decision I ever made was to put my music out. Using the Gangsta Grillz platform for free.
I'm glad you did that.
Best decision I ever made, bro.
And the best decision you ever made turned into a great decision or a great opportunity for me, because it definitely changed my life.
For sure. For sure. I think, you know, it's crazy. I really think it changed a lot of people's lives because I think that was the first time street cats actually got a chance to see that it can work. Like you didn't need a label. You know what I'm saying? Like you can put your music out and the streets rocking with it. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of things that went on the underlayers that a lot of people didn't know. It wasn't like we just did a project and, you know, it was a couple of CDs running around. Like we was pressing up hundreds of thousands of CDs, you know, 500s of thousands of flyers. You know what I'm saying? Going to every beauty shop, every barber shop, every club, passing them out, giving people free music. It was like it was a movement. It was a campaign. So that with all the hard work we did, once you put it together, it was like lightning in the bottle. It was like fire. I felt it. You know, it was like before then, like shit. I wouldn't do no shows. I was just around here balling for real. You feel me? Like I wouldn't go on, you know, to do no shows. And the first show I got was at Central Station. I think it was on the East Side. Central Station, not Central Station. It was a club on the East Side. I forget the name of it.
What was it called? Was it Central Station? It was something station.
Something Station, yeah.
Yeah.
And I went there every Sunday, and that's where we passed, you know, the majority of the CDs out in the beginning. And that's where I got my first show.
But you were doing shows before that because our initial the initial way we met,
right?
When Coach introduced us was because I was making you show CDs.
Let me clarify that.
Okay.
My first paid show.
Got you.
Right.
Got you.
The other shit I was doing, I was just running around trying to get a name. You know what I'm saying? I was hitting clubs that didn't even have, the clubs that was on dirt roads, that didn't even have a stage. You got to get on the speaker. You know what I'm saying? I was just running through. I get, you know, $100 to perform. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I had in my pocket to perform. And that's how I was like moving around. Yeah.
Do you remember the first Gangsta Grillz you heard, or the first time, your first Gangsta Grillz memory before?
I think the first, well, I remember two things. The first thing I remember was really like Tip's Gangsta Grillz.
Okay.
And that's why I heard the Go Crazy beat that Don Cannon had did. I don't know where I was. I was over somebody's spot. You know what I'm saying? Probably somebody trapping. It just kept playing it back to back to back. And I think this when him and Flip had the situation.
Yep, the Down with the King.
Yeah, he was going in on that. And I was like, damn, but I thought y'all was a crew. So I didn't know if I can get in or not. Because from the outside looking in, it looked like y'all was like
locked in.
Right.
Like a Who Kid and 50
Yeah, like he was his DJ.
Got you.
And that's what I thought. But the second time when I was at Club Visions, and I don't want to say it was Kaya back then, but it had to be Visions right in that.
I think it had already changed the Visions.
Yeah, and I was walking through, and you was doing the Gangsta Grillz party.
No, it was at Fuel.
Fuel.
Yeah, I was going to tell this story.
And then,
it was at Fuel. And then it was my first Gangsta Grillz party.
Right, and then you kept playing the Gangsta Grillz drop, and I was just like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I gotta figure this out.
So that's what I remember.
Right.
So I did a Gangsta Grillz party at Fuel in Buckhead. It was the first party I did. And I had, I think Tip hosted, Killer Mike, Fab was there, David Banner, and even like Jay Mills, who was cool with Jay Mills at the time. So I did that party in Buckhead. It was a success, and it was my first like Gangsta Grillz party. So after that, you know, we had already met. You had already came to the crib, and you know, I made you take your shoes off.
Brand new George and shit. I'm just like, yo, this is just so disrespectful. Coach, it's just your man. You feel me?
And then Coach called me and said, yo, me and Jeezy want to take you to lunch. And we went to the spot called Harry and Sons. And you told me, yo, I was at your party.
Right.
And one thing I'll never forget, you told me, you was like, yo, I don't know if you realize, but like the streets fuck with you. Like niggas in the streets is on Gangsta Grillz.
Yeah.
And that's when you explained to me, and you know, to your credit, and to not my credit, because I will admit, like, it sounded good, but you had your vision. You knew what you wanted and where you wanted to go with it. And you told me at that lunch, this is my vision, this is where I want to take it, and I wanted to be on your platform on Gangsta Grillz. And I was like,
it was understood because you got to think like back then, like all the cast that was like you had Bone Crusher, Tip of course, there's a few other guys that was popping back then, but they had all the radio play. You know what I'm saying? But we was so far, we was street guys, so we was so far away from the radio that was like far fetched. You know what I mean? And the only way you was gonna get your music heard was on the Gangsta Grillz. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I just remember being in the studio with Jazzy Faye and Trick Daddy and all those guys over at Noontown Studio, and we was working on the Boys in the Hood project. And I was like, yo, I'm about to do this mixtape with Drama. And they was like, mixtape? I'm like, yeah. So I played them the songs, and everybody was just like, I think it's not a good idea to give all your music away for free. But in my mind, in my heart, the things that I was into at the time, I didn't know whether I was gonna be, incarcerated, indicted, I just wanted to be heard, right?
So you was like, I gotta do it now.
I gotta do it right now, and I gotta put my blood, sweat, and tears in this music, because this might be the only time I'm ever heard. So up into Streets is Watching, and I immediately felt the shift, you know what I'm saying, from what I was doing before that. I started feeling like, I would be out and people be like, yo, I like your music. And I'm just like, damn, I really thought coaching them with paying people to walk up to me to give me some confidence, because it was weird, you know what I'm saying? And then the reason why I say that, because before the radio came into play, I already knew it was time to start working towards something bigger.
Right.
Right, because I had a plan. I was like, I just want to put my music on and get it out in the streets. I want to go hand to hand, pass it out, go to every club, give it away, go to every barbershop, give it away, go to every store, give it away. Walters, I go down there and shop on Saturday. I'm giving out CDs, you know what I'm saying? And, just to get the buzz up, right?
Right.
Magic City, same thing.
Right.
And I kind of got that from Magic City, like, because I don't know if you remember, like, Magic City, Nicky's, Jazzy T's, where we used to get all our music from, because when the bootlegs came out, there was always somebody outside selling the CDs. So that's why I used to go get my Cash Money CDs, and every time something new came out, that's where I got my music from. But in my mind, I'm like, well, shit, if I could give it away, you know what I'm saying, there in that mix, I'm in it, you know? So that was the plan, right? At the same time, going like to Magic City and balling out, wearing a chain with my name on it, a jersey with my name on it, because I was branding myself at the time, right? But I instantly knew when it was time for Trap or Die, because I was like, I got to do something a little different, but bigger, right? And the first thing that came to my mind was like a lot of people, because I started getting like, little shows here and there, but you can kind of tell people to know what I look like, you know what I mean? Because I walk out and they just like, oh shit. But it was almost like, well, how can I get people to see the life that I was living? And that's when I was like, I want to do a DVD. And that's how the whole Trap or Die thing came. Because I had the song, I had Bun on the song, and it was like, I'm gonna make a project around this record, but then I'm gonna put a DVD with it, right? And put it in the street so people can see, how I'm out here moving, right? And when that, because I know you remember the legendary Trap or Die mixtape release party at
Of
Vision.
course, we was gonna get into all that.
Oh yeah, I already know you gotta go there, but
we're gonna get there.
When I walked in that building, well, first of all, when I drove past it earlier that day, it was about maybe 7. I'm in the back of the Phantom with the driver, and we rolling, and I look and I see the line is around the corner.
At 7.
It's 7 o'clock.
And this is still when the club stayed open till
5
in the morning.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
In perspective.
It's at 7 p.m. It's around the corner, and I stick my head out the window, and everybody screaming, Jeezy. I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit worked. You feel me? Like, it happened. Yeah, and I knew it was time for that, because, anybody else would have came off of G's Up or Streets is Watching and thought they could put out an album, but I knew it wasn't time.
Right.
I knew it wasn't time.
So I want to go back a little bit before we get there. First, do you feel like there's a misconception that you got your record deal after the first mixtape? Because you were already signed to Def Jam when we did Streets is Watching. Because
I think
the Def Jam logo is on the back
Yeah.
of the CD, or did it happen around the same time?
It happened around the same. I think it happened more so with Trap or Die.
Okay.
I think if the logo was on there, we probably went back.
Went back and did it.
Because I convinced them, because it was crazy sitting in a meeting with them like, yo, we should press up. You know, I already pressed up 300,000
Right.
CDs. Y'all should press up another 100,000. They're like, why the fuck would we give away 100,000 CDs? That makes no sense. And I'm like, I'm telling you. And if you really watch everything that happened after that project with Def Jam and Dad and Trap or Die, they was giving out CDs on everybody.
Absolutely.
And they was calling
They
you for
followed the blueprint.
DJ drama mixtapes because it was like, that was the formula. And for me, it was just like, I didn't have a problem with like putting those records out and keeping the records that work. That was my formula.
So one thing that needs to be addressed is that, and maybe like why some people had hesitation was, at that period in time, the majority of what people knew as mixtapes for the most part was an artist taking other people's beats and rapping over them. And then so in that way you would give out free music and then set it up for your album where you put out your music. But on our first collaboration, and I wanted you to talk about the original name G's Up and then us changing it. But like, why did you choose to, instead of doing freestyles on other people's beats, put out all your original music?
Well, you know, I'm gonna go forward and I'll go backwards. You know, we'll talk about this too. Like, Can't Ban the Snowman was like one of them pivotal times where like the streets was trying to flip-flop on me, had shit going on. People, like, it was just a lot, right? And I didn't have time to go get beats produced. So I called Shakir Stewart and he had Hitco Studio. I was like, I need someone to work. I could be by myself. And I just had my guy pull up all these instrumentals on the internet, and I just grabbed the ones I liked because I wanted to do this Can't Ban the Snowman in about 3-4 days. I think I knocked it out in 4.5. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to get it off my chest now, and I didn't have the time to set it up. So time was of the essence then. So in the beginning with like G's Up, it was more like you got your whole life to make your first album, right? Or your first project. And so for me, I was learning the craft, but I was so in love with the music that I was making, and I was buying and paying for everything, so it was mine, right? So I didn't mind giving it away because I felt like if I got a record or if I got a buzz, it was worth whatever I paid for the beats. So that was just my mindset going into it. And I was like, yo, if I can build or get some momentum off this to go get a deal, because that was the whole thing. I was trying to get a deal, which is probably like timing is crazy. Because if it had been anything else and I wasn't pressed of thinking that I might, you know, get caught up or go to prison or whatever, I probably would have never took a deal. You know what I'm saying? I've probably been like the first independent person. But I was just like, I got to do something that's gonna set me up and put me in a legitimate place where I can live my life and not feel, you know, like it can go down any day. So that was my thought process. So I had the time to sit there and stay in the studio because it was my sanctuary and make these records. So I was very like proud of that shit. Like I wanted people to hear like I'm making music. Like, you know, you're a street guy. All of a sudden you're making music with Jazzy Faye.
Right.
You're a street guy. All of a sudden you're making music with Lil Jon. You're a street guy. All of a sudden you're making music with the people that got all the hits. And I wanted people to see that. And so I had the time. And that's why I used the original music. And then there was not a lot of things that was going on around that time that inspired me musically. I'm a big Tupac fan. So it was like music wasn't defined for me then. Like Tip was the closest thing to the streets, and then you had Master P and those guys that was doing it before then, but you know, the 8 Ball, MJGs, but it wasn't really nothing that I was just on. So I just wanted to make, in the great words of Andre 3000, if you want to hear something, make it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to hear that, so I was making that.
And there's definitely a transition in your style between Come Shop With Me, which was an earlier album, and then Streets Is Watching.
Come Shop With Me was, I was hanging out with some guys in Florida that, you know, we had some other things going on. I was kind of like in their
Michael
mix,
Jackson,
and that's
Jeezy.
I was feeling that, you know. But when I got back to Georgia, I'm like, oh, and then everything was so different because everything was crunk.
People were saying you were sounding like Trick Daddy back
Yeah,
then.
no, I was a big Trick Daddy fan for sure. Yeah, I was definitely, you know what I'm saying. But at the time, it was 3 or 4 people you can really listen to that was spitting some solid facts. He was one of them. And when I came back, you know, of course, I got back in the mix in the city, and I'm moving around. I'm like, damn, like everything is so crunk or everything is so fast. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like I wanted to slow it down so they could hear what I was saying, and I wanted to, you know, make my delivery like, you know, like edgy, but at the same time, like, you know, just calculated. You know what I mean? With the ad libs, and you just slow talking and walking. You know what I'm saying? And the fear was that, like, you know, you weren't gonna get no radio play, and they definitely weren't gonna play it in the club. It was too slow, and it was the exact opposite. Once we got it popping,
100%.
you know what I'm saying? It was like I walk in those clubs.
Yeah.
I might hear about 40 Gangsta Grillz drops. They playing the whole project.
They had no choice.
Right. You feel me? Like they ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like from beginning to the end, and then started back over. And I'm in the club and I'm watching people like over time just like word for word, the whole process. They listen to it in the club, they listening to it in the car, they listen to it when they get home. And these are all physical CDs.
All physical CDs,
This is not streams, this is not none of that. Like you had to have a copy, you know. And when I'm out now and I'm moving around these cities and these people come up to me with original copies of Trap or Die to sign, original copy of G's Up. It don't even have the plastic case, it just got the sleeve, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, man, like, you know, we really made some history. And I even feel like now, and you can see it, you know, even like being out on these tours, it ain't just records, it was a movement. It was a time capsule.
Bigger than records.
Everybody in that time capsule was trying to figure their life out.
Yeah.
And that was their church. I was their TD Jakes at the time.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying? I was telling them there's another way, we gotta figure this out, and they did. So now when they listen to it, you know, that's that music to take you back to that place.
The music touches them in a different way.
It's not a song, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I've told you this, being there 15, 20 years later and watching you and performing with you on those stages and watching how it affects people, it's different. Like it's, you know, it's one of those special moments in music and time, and what, you know, you don't, when we're in it, you don't even realize what you're creating.
It's happening in real time.
Looking forward and then looking back and like, wow, this the way it touches people.
I mean, and it's crazy because I would have never even, I couldn't even fathom that. You know, again, my whole process was like, I just got to get out of the situation I'm in and get out of the streets. But then I just want to be heard. And, you know, I even think sometimes, like, you know, it happens, you know, it's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. But just imagine if Trap or Die was my debut album. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how hard that would have been. You feel me? But it's just like, it all lined up in a way that, you know, we made like history and we solidified, you know, who and what we are.
I mean, to think that we went from Streets is Watching to Trap or Die to Thug Motivation is
It's
even
crazy.
That is insane, and just from the beginning. Like,
yes. But even now though, like, you know, even as I watch, you know, and you gotta definitely give yourself a pat on the back for that. Like, even as I watch what you're doing with the Gangsta Grillz brand as of now, you know, that's some solid shit, bro. Like, you built something, you know what I'm saying, from your living room, you know what I'm saying? But now to this day is such a recognizable brand when it comes to what we do, that even the next generation want to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, bro.
No,
hats off for that.
I appreciate that. And that's what's dope. Like, even when we did Snowfall, I think like there's a space and a time in the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years, whatever, however music has formulated because of the DSPs.
Right.
You know, what we were doing with mixtapes, people didn't really I don't know if they didn't want that sound or because of how music was being delivered, they were afraid of it or what have you. But when they hear us on Snowfall, when they hear the music, when they hear the bells and the whistles and that feel that, you know, 20 years later, Snowfall gives them that trap or die feel, it's like, oh yeah, I missed this. I want that. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, this resurgence, you know, just from a nostalgic perspective as well as, you know, I watched NBA Youngboy the other day, just, you know, they asked him about when he did his tape and he was like, you know, growing up, just like hearing drama on so many projects and like, you know, it was like drilled. He said he literally was like, it's drilled in his head, like hearing Drama's voice. So when they asked me if I wanted to host, it's like, I got to get Drama.
Damn right.
You know what I mean?
Damn, no, that's it. That's it. That's connecting the dots. I mean, even for myself, it's just like, you know, as soon as I was thinking Snowfall, and I was just like, yo, I got to reach out to Drum because I need that feeling. You know what I'm saying? And again, in the words of Andre 3000, when you want something that's not there, you got to make it. That's what we are. We the creators. We do, you know, we create. We make. We set the tone. We set the tempo. We tell the stories, and it's just like, for me, it was missing that. And I know that only you and I can put something together that feels like that. You know what I'm saying? And even for me, it was just like, when it came out, I got calls from people I hadn't got calls from in years. Like, yo, this is crazy. But it's that feel. You know what I'm saying? It's that, and also our timing has been impeccable. I remember when we was doing the Reels back. Man, it was like almost every Memorial Day weekend. I'm in the studio a week, like 3 weeks before Memorial Day weekend. I'm trying to get the tape ready to take to Miami with me.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to Miami. I'm just going to give out these tapes. And that was the thing. That was the soundtrack. You go down there, you do, you know, King of Diamonds, all these clubs. You run around, and then you got the mixtapes to give out. You know, and to me, it's like, you know, I love this shit. So you know, it stopped being about the money for me a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I love to be able to connect with real people who want real things in life, and y'all got to understand it through the music. So for me, it's just like, when you do albums, there's so much expectations there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just so much. You know, you got to have the radio, right? You got this, and it's just like, when we do what we do, it's just fun, bro. Like, it's like, that's like, you know, it's like going back to the trenches and just kicking it for a day and just, you know, getting that love and just embodying who and what you really are. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of music that we make, and that's why people love it, because it's true to us. It's like, ain't no cut. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no flake, ain't no fluff on it. It's like, this, like, we got in the studio, this is what we made for y'all. And you put it together, and when you start, you know, and you can see the elevation in it too. It's just like, for you to be talking about on Grammys that you got the hardware off of a, you know what I'm saying, Gangsta Grillz, like, that's, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
by the way, I want to make clear that's one of the moments where Jeezy made me go back in and,
absolutely,
and had to motivate me, like, yo, bro, how you gonna have a song on here called Grammys?
Grammys, you not talk about your Grammy, like, it's crazy.
Or even on Street Cred, how we was talking, like, what we was talking about, and, you know, my ad-libs on that, those are like grown, mature ad-libs from where we came from, you know what I'm saying? And
I love, I mean, to be honest with you too, I love the fact that we, you know, we can have the evolution on there and it still be true. You know what I'm saying? For you to say, you know, our name got equity. Well, I was like, you know what I mean? That's that. You know, I had people in the streets like, yeah, that's, you know, that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? But you're talking your elevation and our elevation with what we do. And there's no label, there's no producers, there's no entities that could put together that magic, bro.
That's real.
That's crazy.
When did you know that you was onto something with your ad-libs?
I knew I was, what the true story is, like, I was trying to develop my way of doing things, because I was moving around a lot. I was in Fort Lauderdale for a while. I was in South Georgia for a while. So I was just moving around, and just like, what made me unique when I first started to figure out my delivery was the fact that me and Shorty Red had got really tight, And I used to always tell him, like, I don't want the, like, 808s he was giving everybody else, like the double ups. I was like, just slow it down and, like let me, give me, like, a space where I could say something and stop and pause and give myself some props. And I remember being in his basement and we was rocking with, like, Let Me Talk to Him and Hold Up and Air Forces and all those records. I knew then that they were special because I know how I felt when I was actually putting the ad-libs down and I was stacking my vocals the way that I know how to stack them. And we was recording in the basement with no vocal booth. It was just like him and his board and a mic just like this. And it just made it so raw. You know what I'm saying? I used to walk, he had like a bathroom right here, and while he would be making the beats, I'd be standing in the mirror in the bathroom, like, you know, repping myself up. I'd be like, I'm ready. And I come in there and I put a couple bars down and I walk away and I think about what I'm gonna say in between. I didn't know they was ad-libs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I had no idea that's what they was gonna call them. But I'd be like, yeah, you know, and then I'll come in back, that's right. And then when you put the song together, right?
Yeah.
And you sit back and listen to it, it's undeniable. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, this is crazy. So when I really realized that I had something was when I first started to go get back out after Trap or Die. I mean, because Streets Watching was moving too.
Okay.
When I got out after Trap or Die, when I would be in the clubs, people would actually recite the ad-libs. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, this is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, I got something. And from there on, I just made it my business to, like, ad-lib it up. I didn't care, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it was, I was gonna put my signature ad-libs on it. It's like that seasoning, baby, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, Popeyes is Popeyes for a reason, you feel me? Like, got that seasoning on it. So that's what I was gonna. But you asked me about how did I know the name G's Up.
Right.
So G's Up was a phrase we always use in the hood, you know, and that was just like, you know, just G's up, like we ain't laying down for nothing. And at the time, I just thought it was a dope catchphrase, and I wanted to name the first tape that. And then we started on it.
We did.
You know what I'm saying? You started doing drops and everything, and then I think you called me. You was like, or somebody called and said that was the name of Lil Scrappy's
Crew.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay. And it dawned on me, like, Streets is Watching just sounded more like who and where I was at. You know what I mean? Because that's what it felt like. And you talking about Streets is Watching was around the time, I don't know if I recorded them boys before that.
I was gonna just ask you about that too.
Yeah, it was all kind of.
I think it was right before them boys.
Right. Yeah, Streets is Watching was right before them boys.
Right before them boys.
Then the boys, and then I think shortly after that was Trap or Die. So all that time is when I started to make that transition into a space of becoming like a real artist and understanding that, like, I had what they call momentum, right? But I didn't really understand how and what to do with that at the time because I'm in it, right? So I'm just coming up with all these marketing strategies, what they call them, but I didn't know it then, but I was just trying to figure out how to market myself. And I think around the time where I really figured it out was when I did the Snowman chain, right? And I had the Snowman chain, and then this was around the time that I got my deal with Def Jam. And I was in there and we was like, they got to come up with something for marketing. And shout out to Shauna Ayers. She was just like, what is that around your neck? I was like, it's a snowman. She's like, well, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then we pressed up the shirts. And
This is
then
before Snowman was even a nickname.
Right.
Got you.
But I remember though, because I get a call from Tip one day. This is, you know, because I'm a street guy. Like, I'm not putting two and two together. Like, he called me. He's like, yo, that's great marketing. I'm like, the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, that Snowman that's great marketing. And I'm like, nah, that's me. That's who I am. He's like, I know, but that's great marketing. I'm telling you, that's a great way to market yourself. And I was just like, damn, okay. And so now, you know, I got marketing going on. So I got music in the street. I got marketing going on. I'm a part of a group, and I just got a record deal. So now it's up. You know what I'm saying?
Do you remember the first, when we did G's Up, Streets is Watching, like the cover art, did you tell me you wanted it to be blue, or did I just come to you with a cover that
I think you came to me with a cover.
happened to just be blue?
Yeah, you came to me with a cover that was blue.
And it was just,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then, you know, I'm gonna be honest, bro, like, you know, I wouldn't even ask no questions. I was just glad you was doing this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even, I told coach, whatever, like, I don't care. Let's just get it done. You know what I'm saying?
And it still boggles me just even putting all this in perspective that like the way me and you met was because Coach K lived around the corner from where I lived in the 4th Ward.
Right.
And just like how the stars aligned, like that it just so happened that he lived around there, and me and Sense had this duplex there, and we was young budding DJs doing our thing, and you know, Coach befriended us, and then y'all started working together, and you know, it came together. It's one of those like divine situations that I think about, like.
Because when he was telling me y'all was cool, I was just like, y'all ain't that cool. I was like, yo, if it's your man, he'll do it. And he was like, oh, we'll go talk to him. And off, you know, it's like one of those things when like, you know it's your time and you know you got that small window to make something great happen. Like, I knew that together we could do something that was great. Like, I knew it, like, from the jump. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, the show tapes was just a ploy. I was trying to get in.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like, let's go there and get him to do another show tape. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yeah, we cool now. You know, about 5 in now. You gotta know, you know what I'm saying? I'm pulling out my bankroll and I'm paying for them and shit. You know what I mean? Let them know, I got some money, man. What you want to do? But it was a ploy. And me and Coach talked about it every day. I was like, yo, man, you gotta do it. And I remember one time, I think you was, because we was trying to get a song on one of the tapes.
Well, we
at
did.
first.
You did. We had a song. We had a song with Bone Crusher.
Yes.
And it was on like Gangsta Grillz 8 or something.
Yeah.
Coach was supposed to pay me. He never paid me for
I can
it.
believe that.
Yeah, but I remember I did put the song on there.
Well,
So-
Take It to the Flow. That's what the name of the song.
Yeah, and I did that on the Love.
Yeah.
And by the way, like, you know, the same way you got resistance on how you was putting music, I was getting resistance on how I was approaching Gangsta Grillz, because people, when I was like moving around CDs in the streets, people was like, look, when you make a South mixtape, like, niggas don't want to hear all that talking and exclusives and freestyles. Like, that's not what they want to hear, because, you know, they were used to a certain style. Like, maybe it was from Edward J tapes or...
Yeah, Edward J was big too.
Like, what the sound was. And I went totally against the grain and did everything my own way. Started talking all over the tapes, putting drops and those things. And then another thing too is like as big as me and Tips Down with the King was and that tape, you know, Streets Is Watching did so much for Gangsta Grillz, because like you said, when you went to the club, you know, that they was literally playing the mixtape from beginning to end. And the only place that music existed was on that platform, was on Gangsta Grillz.
Right.
So the DJs didn't have no choice but to play it.
So you heard the Gangsta Grillz drops.
You had to hear the Gangsta Grillz drops and my voice and everything. And I really want to thank you for not even putting that music out without me. Like, it wasn't even you know, you was like, look, if this what it is. Like, it's the Gangsta Grillz. Because, you know, you could have at that time, and I don't even, it was still early on before people were doing, I think I'm the reason why no DJ version even exists, because of how much talking I was doing and Gangsta Grillz drops. But, you know, that made a lot of people have to get familiar, because they had to hear Streets Is Watching, because niggas was requesting Jeezy all day, every day, and that was how it was.
I personally, you know, my personal take on it is like, you know, you can't redo the magic, right? So even when, because this is how I look at it, like, you know, I think I was telling Late earlier, I was telling the homie earlier, like, when I gave my records when I gave Thug Motivation to Leslie to mix, right? When he brought it back to me, it was better than I dropped it off. That was our magic. He made me sound bigger, better than when I dropped it off. When I dropped my music off to you, I'm waiting for that moment when you give it back to me, that I get goosebumps. You feel what I'm saying? Because of what you saying and how you bringing it back, and how you delivering, you know, your words and your cadences. And to me, that's the magic. You can never undo that, and which is why, you know, it was better than when I dropped it off to you. And then your sequence game was mean. Cause now I want to be surprised. I'm giving you the, you know what I mean? I'm giving you the bag, you know what I'm saying? Then you give it back to me. I get to get in the car, I get to press play, and I get to ride around and be a fan. You know what I'm saying? I get to ride around and like listen to this new Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? And it was magic, bro. And there was no way you can break it up. And I think that that's what made it dope, because we was like, it was like we was Batman and Robin in there. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was a dynamic duo.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so that's what made it great. And I remember when Trap or Die came out, I was in my Beamer, I was riding through the 4th Ward, and I pulled up at I think it was the Amico over there on the corner. And man, it was like so many people in the parking lot just playing and listening to it and looking at the cover and talking about the DVD. And it was like, damn. And I remember one day I was coming down 400, and some people pulled up on the side of me and was like plastering me in the window, like Trap or Die. And I was just like, yo, this shit is great. They gotta think this is not an album. Right, this is not an album.
So let's even put it in perspective, right? Because so before Trap or Die, the way mixtapes were accessible or available was when they were finished and pressed up on physicals.
Right.
You know, the DJ or the artist or whatever would send them out to stores and, you know, get them to the bootleggers or however, whatever, and it would just, you would go to the store and it would be there.
Right.
Trap or Die is the first ever mixtape with a release date.
Right.
Before Trap or Die, that concept of a release date for a mixtape didn't exist.
Right.
Like, I think people really need to understand, you know, even beyond the music and the movement, like how groundbreaking it was.
Yes.
And even from the DVD, it was the first mixtape that had a DVD. By the way, that's the first time people realized what I looked like. They thought I was 300 pounds and dark skin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You sound like you was out here thugging.
Yeah, it was the Trap or Die DVD that people first saw me, but you know, and the reason why it had a release date was because of the party as well, which we discussed. Like, so Trap or Die was a lot of firsts for a lot of things within the mixtape world, and you know, musically, just like, you know, the sequencing, the music on there, like it was an extreme game changer.
It's a classic. It's the first classic to date for me. It's a classic. There's no denying that Trap or Die is classic. Probably one of the best mixtapes ever put together.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, from the way it was marketed, the way it was put out, to like, I remember like hitting the CD guy and being like, pulling up at his spot, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, getting truckloads of it.
Shout to June.
Shout to June, taking it to the spot. It was damn near the trap, and we bagging it up and putting the CDs in it, and it was like people couldn't believe that I was giving that shit away. And it was like, everybody like, you crazy. I was like, no, this is it. This was gonna change everything, bro. This was gonna change. And then the reason when I knew it was real is I might, I was smoking and moving around, and I might run up in somebody's trap spot, you know what I mean, grab a little smoke or something. I'm on the screen, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, they sitting here watching this shit. You know what I'm saying? People were like literally watching Trap or Die in their trap houses or in their apartments. And I remember feeling like a overnight, superstar, because it went from people knowing a little bit about the music to like, now I'm walking around in the clubs and people are actually approaching me. I'm in the mall, people walking up on me like, Jeezy, man, we love what you do. And it also gave me like, everything that we do, you gotta have your why. My why in the beginning is I didn't want to get caught up in what I had going on. But then when I started to understand, like, that was my mission in life, to motivate and inspire, like, that's my mission statement, you know what I'm saying, through my actions and how I'm living and what I'm doing and what I'm on and how I'm moving around. That was my mission statement, and it began there because to tell somebody to trap or die, you know, that's a real thing. You tell them like, look, man, they're not gonna give this to you, so you gotta go out here and do whatever it is you know how to do to figure it out. And here's you some theme music while you trying to figure it out, you know. And I forget what tape it was on. If it's like, you know, if you ain't gonna get out here and get your mama a house, and then, you know what I mean? Like, you know how many people was just like, yo, man, I got my mama a house. Like, it was that, you know what I mean? And it was like, even the talking, the intro on Trap or Die.
It still gives me
Oh
chills.
my God, bro. Like, you feel me? It's like, you know, sometimes I can't even believe I wrote that shit, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it was coming from such a hungry place. And the why was I got to put myself in position that I could take care of my family, get my mom a spot, a house, and get out of the situation I'm in. That was my why. And once I accomplished that with Trap or Die, my why began to be, how do I motivate and inspire, because we all in the streets. And I'm gonna say this, you know, with me and you sitting here, everything that came through that door, once we kicked it open, came in on our merit, came in on our badge of honor, because we didn't close it back.
Real shit.
We gave them the formula, bro.
100%.
It's so many guys from the street now that's in the music business because we gave them the formula, like we gave it to them. It's like whoever came up with the whip game, like you sat there and just showed them, this is what you do. You add this, you do that, you do this is it. Now go get rich. We gave it to them, right on the silver platter. We ain't hate, we ain't knock nobody, and everybody that came in on their own 2 feet, 10 toes after that came in with our playbook.
I think I say on Win, what did I say? You like our style, you love our style, something like we birthed this style.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we, you know, like everything we did.
Everything we did. And even for myself, like, you know, I ain't typing no, I don't need no pat on the back, no hero cookies and nothing, but I see it from a distance. I know that a lot of these cats that probably, you know, had to figure it out when they got no label. Like, I wouldn't have got no label involved. Like, nobody would have signed me in the beginning. I had to go out here and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And to figure it out was what we was doing, the magic we was making. It's undeniable. You can't deny that.
I mean, you know, just how my phone started ringing after Trap or Die. It was like, I mean, one, I remember being on the road with Tip and just city to city, everywhere we go. There wasn't a city I went to where I didn't hear Trap or Die playing out of a car. And it was, you know, that was that feeling as a kid that I had always growing up listening to Clue tapes. Like, man, I can't wait to hear my shit playing. And for me, it was like when we did Trap or Die, it was Chicago, Detroit, LA, Birmingham, New York, Philly, like.
New York surprised me though.
I heard it
surprised me. That's the one I was kind of like, I got to figure this one out. Man, I went to a Rucker game. That's all I heard. Trap or Die. I was just like, damn.
So with Trap or Die, I want you, and then I also want to, you know, talk about your verse on Them Boys too.
Okay.
But with Trap or Die and then with Them Boys, outside of you becoming the hottest thing in the streets, you also became your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Right. And then even it was around that time when we went to Puerto Rico for the Mix Show Power Summit, the thing they used to have with the DJs. And it was Jeezy, and Drama. Like, I just want you to talk a little bit about that, how you know, how after that too, you know, the streets, you had them, but then the rap game also, your favorite rapper was looking at you.
Well, the Puerto Rico thing first. I mean, that was probably the first time I took a trip out of the country based on what I was doing. Like, meaning like, you know, without it being about me going somewhere to vacate or something like this. It's just actually going to a DJ summit, right? And I knew what I was doing, you know, in the city, right? I knew I was heating up in Atlanta. I knew I was getting play in the clubs. And this was my first time like being out around amongst other artists that was up and coming. I think like Slim Thug and, you know, all those guys was there. So it was like, but that was the first time I really felt it from industry point of view, because there was so many DJs there, and they was like giving it up.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm thinking they're giving it up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Coach had to kind of pull me to the side.
Nah,
like,
it was
yo,
different.
no,
Yeah.
you that guy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I made a lot of great relationships there that, you know, still lasting into the day just with DJs. And I started to understand how important DJs are to what we do. You know what I'm saying? Because we make the music, they make us stars. You feel what I'm saying? So that was great to see, and it was great to be in a different country and still getting love. You know what I mean? Because I went home confidence on 10. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was a great experience, and I met a couple of Def Jam guys that I would go on to work with over there as well. But them boys was different because I'm so used to being in my like own groove. Meaning, like, when I go to studio, it's my studio time. I paid for it. You know, it's my people, my ambiance. You know what I mean? This is like the first time me being in somebody else's, comfort zone.
Got you.
So they was already working over there at Jazzy's Face Studio.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Big Zach.
Yep.
Those guys. So when I got called over there by Kim, God bless her soul, which is Kim Porter, which is Puff's kid's mother.
Kim called you to come over there.
Yeah, Kim called me to come over there, and Ebony, which is my sister, Ebony called me to come over there, and that's when I met Block. I knew Block from the streets from my cousin and them, because my cousin and my aunties are from Decatur, so that's how I knew them. So anyway, I go over there, and I'm over there with them a day or two, and then they like, yo, we got this record, and I'm like, all right. So they play the record. I'm like, all right. So, and again, timing, you know. I go in, you know, everybody write their verses, you know what I'm saying? They quick, they like 10, 15 minutes, they record. So it take me a while because I'm not used to this surrounding. So it take me like 2 hours, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know the engineer, so he doesn't know the way I record. So now I gotta explain to him how I record, so that takes another hour. So anyway, you know, everybody probably running around like, this the guy y'all want in the group. It's like, he taking forever, you know what I'm saying? And, right. So then, you know, I drop my verse, and then I go in the hallway and I tell them to press play so I can hear it outside on the big speakers. By the time that, if it's taking too long to lock up, bring it back. Everybody was in the studio, losing it, going crazy. And this is around the time that, you know, Streets is watching. I think it's right between Trap or Die.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, I was like, damn, like, this is probably one of the hardest verses I
did to
this date.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I was like, damn, okay, how does this work? I've never been a part of a group before.
Right.
So they take the record, get the record on radio, whatever.
So that literally was the formation of the group.
Right.
Was that record.
That record.
Okay.
And now this is how they telling me to get in the group.
Got you.
Right, because it's supposed to be a feature at first.
I got
right?
you.
So at the time, I had just signed to Def Jam, and it just so happened Kevin Lyles and them signed me over there, but Kevin left 2 weeks after he signed me.
And went to Atlantic.
He went to Atlantic.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, damn, Kevin was my man.
Yeah.
And one day I'm walking the Def Jam building, probably like a month later, and I'm walking in, I see this Maybach sitting out there, and I'm walking up, so you know you got to sign in or whatever and give me your ID. And the door opens. And I see we get out. I'm like, damn. So it's Jay-Z. He walk over to the desk like, Jeezy, what's up? Dap him up. He's like, come upstairs with me. So we walk upstairs, we talking or whatever. He said, by the way, I'm the new president. I was like, word. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, shit, I lost care, but I got Jay-Z. So now my mind is, you know what I'm saying, going. So I said, yo, Jay, I'm gonna holler at L.A. Reid for me to be a part of this group, but I want to just do one album. But what I'm thinking is, if my album coming out July, we'll push my album to July 26th, and then we'll drop the Boys in the Hood album like 2 or 3 weeks before mine. I'll use it for promotion. That was my plan. He's like, I love it, it's genius. So the fact that Jay and LA thing was cool, I was able to pull that deal off. I actually negotiated that deal myself.
Got you.
Right, and got it done. And all that went with the momentum, because now you got this kid who's got mixtapes out, I got Two to the Good, I just got a record deal, and now I'm signing a group deal. All that's happening in like a 6, 7, 8 months span. And you know what I'm saying? I got the hottest music in the streets. You know what I'm saying? All this going on. and I'm finishing up Thug Motivation. However, you know, thugging, not really taking care of myself, you know, just doing all this shit. And then I get polyps on my vocal cords, and now I can't talk. So I got all this stuff in the pipeline, all the ex-coach, all these shows lines up, like millions of shows, and I can't.
You can't talk because of your vocal cords.
Yep.
When that happened, had you already finished Thug Motivation?
I was about 80% done with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 80% done with it, and we was mixing what I had.
And that was a scary time for you.
Oh yeah, because the whole thing was I didn't know if my voice was, well, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to talk for one, because I couldn't talk, so I had to get surgery. And when I got surgery, I didn't have insurance, so I had to pay for it in a brown paper bag.
And you didn't know if you would sound the same.
I wouldn't know if I would sound the same. And that was the whole thing. Like I was really, because my voice is already naturally like raspy. And I just didn't know. And then in my mind, I was like, damn, I'm a true believer in God, man. I'm just like, I know he didn't bring me this far just for me to get this far. And right around that time, I was finishing up the album, finishing up the mixing part of the album.
Okay.
An intern from the studio I was working at, Patchwork, leaked the whole album.
Yep.
So all this happened in like 9 months. So Thug Motivation 101 is out. I can't talk. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm dodging the label. You know what I'm saying? All this has happened. I'm like stressed, bro. Like
when you say it's out, you mean it's out on the streets?
Yeah, it leaked. It's
Yep.
gone.
Yeah.
Thug Motivation came out 3 months before it was supposed to drop.
Yep.
It was out. What I will say is,
And it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shake. And it was crazy. Like I had went and bought like 5 vans and had all the homies from the hood come up, and we was like going around with AKs kicking in bootleggers.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was gonna slow it down.
Yeah,
but
it's impossible.
It didn't. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know how big the world was at that time.
None of us know.
Yeah. So, but
Looking back on it, it probably helped.
Yeah, but no, listen, 1,000,000%. This how it helped. Shake called me, Shakir Stewart called me, said, yo, he said, yo, because I wanted Trap or Die to be my single.
Okay.
I was still stuck on that world. I was like, no, this is it. This is how I'm coming. And he was like, no, we going with this Akon record. And I was like, man, he's like, just do what you want to do with Trap or Die. Let us work this. I said, all right, cool, it's the deal. And I was like, I just asked him, I said, man, you think it's gonna work because it's already out? He said, this the way it works. Don't worry about it. And by the time we started pushing Soul Survivor and started doing the promotion for the album, people had already had their favorites off of there because it was already out. So and people were saying that it was classic, that it was solid, that it was best thing they heard. So I already had, solidified my spot, right? And didn't realize that it was the bootleggers that was doing that for me. You know what I'm saying? So they really, and again, I'm a firm believer in God. I'm like, I know this ain't the end of the road because I'm already thinking, man, I got to go back to the streets. Like that's how my mind clear. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, damn, that was a short ride.
They did a lot of work for Gangsta Grillz too, because they was moving more Gangsta Grillz than I was.
Right.
When I wound up going to the bootleg spot and seeing them, and I was, I'm like, damn, these niggas is making 100 times what I'm.
But that's the thing.
But they put it out.
But that's the beauty of it, bro. Like between the Gangsta Grillz, the album being leaked, the Snowman shirts, right? And everything that we was doing. Like what I came to realize is my grandma always told me, never expect nothing in return unless you give somebody something first, right? And that's how I live my life. I never ask people for things if I haven't personally done something for them first, right? And I feel like, bro, the reality of it, which was bigger than the music, we was helping people eat. And we didn't even realize that.
That's where
the DJs was
Thanksgiving
eating,
came from.
the strippers was eating, the clubs was eating, like everybody was eating.
It was 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's how I came up with Mr. Thanksgiving.
Right.
Because I felt like everybody was eating.
Yeah, everybody was eating. Yeah, everybody was eating. I think that's what made it so special. It was like, this is where it's at. You on this train right here, you're going to be good.
By the way, did you ever know that I had to get throat surgery too? I went through the same thing.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So around like 08, 09, if you go back and go listen to our interview that we had did after we patched things up,
Right.
my voice sounds super raspy. I went through the same thing where
Oh shit.
I was going, I would go do clubs or I would work, and then the next day I would lose my voice.
Wow.
And my shit was fucked up. Man. If I'm not mistaken, I went to the same throat surgeon that
Wow.
you went to
That's
as well.
crazy, bro.
And I had the same worry that like, damn, my shit might not sound the same after this. And like,
What's that thought process though? Like, I mean, that's some deep shit.
yeah, it was fearful, you know, because my voice, you know, my voice is a lot of the key to my success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So thinking like, damn, I might not sound
Like same.
I remember even the program director of the radio station, when I told him like, hey, I gotta get throat surgery, like he even made a comment like, damn, are you gonna sound the same afterwards?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you know, and yeah, so it was crazy.
You don't realize till you got what you got until you're on the verge of losing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's just like I grew up like, you know, they used to make fun of my voice in homeroom because my voice wouldn't warm up when I was in school till about third or fourth period. Before that, you couldn't hardly understand anything I was saying, you know, and it was funny, you know what I'm saying? But then when I found out, you know, it was like, damn, you know, he got the sexy voice now, you know, this shit's selling, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, so now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really, it's not really registering, because, you know, when you come from where we come from, you think you He-Man, you can do anything, everything.
Right.
And then when you put in a situation, I remember, you know, I was communicating with my mom before she passed, but I was just like, you know, I was like, damn, I came all this way, been through all this shit, and it's about to be all gone because I ain't take care of myself. You know, I was overweight, all type of crazy. I'm Chris Style, Waffle House every night. I'm 5'8", 270. You know what I'm saying? You used to see the Snowman with jerseys, stomach sticking out, you know what I mean? It's just like, from that moment on, bro, I just started like, you know, taking life seriously, man. Because I remember it was times, man, I would go, you know, 6, 7 months without drinking water. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
Just thugging. Because that's how I knew how to live. I'm just Chris Style,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
champagne,
Right?
yeah.
Champagne, you know what I'm
diet.
saying? Like, you know, that's how I'm living. But it really made me put things in perspective, because again, it was my why. Why was I doing this? I want to get my family in a better position. I want to, you know, get myself out of my situation. That was my why. And anything that didn't align with that, I had to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to you for getting through that, though, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. Them was some dog nights, man.
Yeah.
Them was some dog nights, boy. Because one thing about it, when you don't know and nobody can't tell you and you got to sit there and kind of go through it, oh, man, it's real.
Have you ever heard, or I'm going to say a phrase to you and I'm going to get your thoughts on it. Thug Motivation 101 is to the South what Get Rich or Die Trying is to New York or the East Coast?
I haven't heard that exactly, but I've heard that Thug Motivation is like the hustler's manual and Bible. I have heard that. I've heard that for sure.
Where do you rate Thug Motivation when it comes to classic albums?
I rate Thug Motivation in my and this is my personal opinion, because, you know, everybody's work. I would consider The Chronic a classic. I would consider Me Against the World a classic. I would consider what's Jay's first joint? Was it The Blueprint?
Reasonable Doubt or the Blueprint?
Reasonable Doubt. I would consider that a classic. You know what I'm saying? I would consider Thug Motivation in that type of caliber, because all those things held a place in time, right? And it wasn't about the numbers, it was about the influence, right? And what it meant to the culture. A lot of people call albums classic for different reasons, and I get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm quite sure Nas got, you know, classics. I'm quite sure, you know, Tip, you know, Ross. Like everybody gonna say that one was your magnum opus. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the difference between Thug Motivation and a lot of bodies of work is that everyone saw it from the groundswell to what it is, and they also saw the things that came along with it that validated what was going on, right? And the place in history with all the players that was involved, from the Coach K's to the Shakir Stewarts to the Shorty Reds to the DJ Dramas to the this one to the that, you know what I'm saying? It was this new aura with what Atlanta and the South was. Because at the time, you know, before that, you had like Lil Scrappy and Crime Mob and you know, you had the guys on the west side, White Tee. You didn't have nothing that was like that. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why
Quality street music.
there you go. And the reason why I was such a big fan and still a big fan of Pac is because it was always about the rules, the code, the oath, and the integrity with him. You know what I'm saying? It was always about those things, and I feel like that's what Trapper Die and Thug Motivation was. It was like it's like a handbook. It was like a pamphlet. This is how you get through this shit. This is how you gonna figure it out. And if you read this, if you listen to this, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna give you the things you need to understand, because the difference between the game that people are playing when they're making music for fans and the game that we're playing is death in jail with this shit we playing. You know what I'm saying? It's real. So you need all the information you can get. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna be able to get that, you know, from most of the shit you're listening to in the club. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to listen to this on the ride home. You know, you got to listen to Trapper Die and Air Force. Last time I checked, I was a man. Like, you need that. You know, and that's the difference for me.
Was there ever a hesitation for you because, like, you know, the things that you were saying on record hadn't really been said before,
Right.
So it was almost like you were putting this info out in a poetic way,
Right.
but in a sense it was like, you know, you were telling stories that we didn't have before.
Right.
And it's like, you know, it's a fine line sometimes.
I think that I was under the impression, you know what I'm saying? That's why I tell the story about Tip and Patchwork. I was under the impression that everybody was doing what they were saying, because I damn sure was. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, so I just wanted to speak my truth, and then that was the only thing. You know how you might have a homie in the hood, he can ball. You know what I'm saying? He ball. You take him to the court in the hood, he gonna dunk on niggas. All the girls like him. That's his one thing. He do that. You know, you got the other homie, he just dressed real good, and everybody, like, this was my thing. This is the one thing in life that I can do better than anybody, in my opinion, right? So for me, it was like, I'm gonna represent what I believe to the fullest. So I'm gonna be as true, as real, as transparent, because to me, it was my story. Now, mind you, I didn't know it was gonna be that big, right? So I'm thinking I'm talking to this group of people. I'm not knowing that it's gonna be this group of people, right? And it was times where I was, you know, kind of like, well, damn, am I, like, you know, am I saying too much? Like, you know what I'm saying? But then, on top of that, you know, and you know, again, timing, God's good, bro. Internet wasn't like it is now. Things ain't going on now, because when they get these young cats in the courtroom and they're trying to use their lyrics against them, I just think about shit. If they ever try to use my lyrics against me, they probably gave me like 10 consecutive life sentences, you feel me? With an extra dub, you know what I mean? Because last shit was real. But, you know, again, you know, it was the timing. It was like time for someone to speak on something with clarity and truth, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think a lot of people realize, like, you know, we, you know, we make music and we do what we do, but even yourself, it's all a form of leadership. You know what I'm saying? No, even if you don't even want to be in a leadership position, there's so many young DJs that look up to you. Just like, yo, Drama, how can I? How did you? And look what you went through. Like you went through so many things, and look at your success and where you are. It's bigger than what we thought.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're in all these different facets of things, and you haven't lost the beat. So imagine how many people look up to you. That's a leadership position. Same with I. It's just like I'm in a position of leadership. So it's just like, you know, of course, over time you're gonna evolve, but then you also had to go through the you know, the dirt to get to where you at.
Right.
So you got to be a pioneer. You got to be the first person to kind of step out there and take a chance with just Southern street rap. You from Philly? How that work? You know what I'm saying? You took a chance though.
100%.
Right. And the same as I took a chance to like, and again, those first 3 projects, G's Up, Trap or Die, Thug Motivation, I had no idea if I was gonna be around or free or not. So I put my heart, my soul, and every truth in that because this is my theory. If it just so happened that I don't get through this, at least I'm gonna have this. Man, that was mine. Yeah.
Do you feel, or was Jay-Z, when he came as the president of Def Jam, was he always on board and a supporter, or did it take some convincing? Because I know, like, you came in with Shake,
right,
and then Hov became president.
I think it was meant to be, bro. Like, from the first time me and Hov ever like connected and chopped it up, we just saw like really eye to eye. And for me, it just felt right to have somebody to spar with about things that I was thinking or things that I knew. Because it wasn't just like it was one-sided. He would ask me shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like all the time. Be like, yo, so, you know, and I'd be like, nah, you know what I mean? But he know I'm closer to it than he is.
Right.
So I'm gonna be like, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? He like, okay, cool. But I just think it was dope to be at a spar because again, being in this position of leadership, you got this young artist, he's from the South, you know, so he's got all these dreams and ambitions and goals and everything. But then, like, you know, and I love Shake, you know, but there's only certain things we could talk about that he's gonna understand.
Got you.
On the artist side. But I can go to Jay and be like, yo, I got this shit going on in the street, man. Like, how do I? He like, well, look, you know, if it were me, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was a different type of, you know, it was a different type of partnership because now you got the best of both worlds because it ain't like we just stopped there. We went on tour together. You know, like I said, I got more records with Jay than Biggie Smalls. You know, think about that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and the whole time we wasn't even talking music. We're talking life. The songs just happened. You know what I'm saying? I never call him and be like, yo, I'm at the studio, pull up. Well, it'd be like more like, yo, man, can you believe this shit? Like we'll sit there in the club or something, just drinking, talking about life and shit. And then I might just pull up on him. He might be in the studio or something, and we might just get one in. I might be like, yo, listen to this. I'll send it to him like I sent him Seen It All. He's like, whoa, it's crazy. I was like, you know what? It's open. If you feel it, send it right back. And a lot of people don't even know I'm put this out there. When Jay did Send It All, me, him, OG Juan, might have been Emery or either Tata. We sat in the office and Shake was there. And we planned and wrote out a whole treatment to shoot Seen It All. We was gonna fly in, me, him on these private jets into Miami. We was gonna take over Live, and what's the hotel there, Fountain Blue?
Yeah, Fountain Blue.
We was gonna do a pool party during the day. We was gonna do a performance in the club. Like, it was like this whole thing, bro. It was like we was gonna do it, and I don't know what the hell happened, but we was locked in. It was crazy. Everybody had ideas. OG Juan, Tata, Emery. We was all just sitting there like, yeah, we're gonna do this and that. So it was gonna go down, but you know, but that's the type of relationship we had. You know what I'm saying? We just be like, yo, I'm gonna do this and that. Even the tour when it came up, it was almost like, yo, I'm doing this Blueprint 3 tour, and he was like, well, first of all, he called me. He's like, yo, I'm trying to finish Blueprint 3. And he was like, yo, I'm looking for something soulful. I hit him back. I said, check your inbox. Real as it gets. He was like, damn, you know your boy. I needed this one. I was like, it's yours. Have it, whatever. So we did Real as it get. And then he hit me back. He's like, yo, I'm going to do this tour, man. You know, you should come out with me. And then he told me some real shit. He was like, I don't want it to be like you're opening for me. Let's do it together.
Right, because you would come in on his like
in the
his
he'd come out for
performance.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'll come out of the ground.
Yep.
I'll do like 30, 45 minutes. Then we'll do my president, and then I'll go back in the ground. Then finish the show. Yeah, it's crazy.
If you had to rate your like top 3 with Hove.
Top 3 songs?
Yeah, with him. Like how 1, 2, and 3.
Go Crazy.
Number 1.
Put On Remix. And Go Crazy, Put On Remix, and Seen It All.
Cool.
Yeah.
So My President is Black would be next, or?
Yeah, okay. Next, yeah.
So I want to touch on the raid a little bit when I got locked up. I want to just to ask you what were your thoughts, and then also tell you that, you know, you were one of the few supporters I had around that time that really was vocal and stood up and, you know, came to my aid. And I wanted to say thank you for that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like, you know, like when you saw that and seeing this and, you know, you seeing all your CDs on TV and them confiscating it and like me getting hit with the RICO, what was your thoughts?
My first thoughts was, I told you that when I saw your birthday bash. I was like, man, y'all went from driving Hondas and shit to Maseratis and Benzes and like, that shit was like, boom. I knew something was up. You know what I'm saying? It was like, boom. But again, to be, you know, to be a pioneer, to be a leader, you gotta take some type of chances. So to me, it was just like, you know, the craziest thing is, you know, I know you, so I know how you move. But to see Cannon in the handcuffs, I was just like, whoa. But at the same time, bro, it's just like, you know, for the culture, man, like of what we doing, it's just like, you just gotta respect it. You know, you guys were doing it in a major way, meaning that, you know, you caught the eyes of, you know, the federal government for that matter, but it just solidified what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? On the level that we was doing it, that they would even get involved in that. I didn't really understand what was going on at first because I had my own shit going on. But when Coach explained it to me, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. But you know, we was all like hoping y'all didn't get in no real shit because, you know, we was all we had at the time. So yeah, that was. Who you got? Drew? Was y'all lawyer at the time? Did Drew do it?
It was Ed Garland.
Okay, Ed Garland.
Ed Garland was online.
Yeah, I was remember sitting at home. I was chilling doing something, man. And somebody hit me on my chirp. I was like, yo, what's up? I turned on the TV, y'all on the news. I'm like, oh, shit, this is crazy.
It's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
But look, man, I feel like this, bro. In the beginning, none of us really knew the business.
Yeah.
All of us was trying to figure it out. Everybody's trying to make money. And, you know, that's some of the things that come with it. I didn't feel no ill will. I was just like, shit, they should have cut me a little bit on it. Of course, I'd have been right up there with y'all. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, everybody's trying to figure it out.
But it's funny that you bring that up because I wanted to touch on that too. Like, even just recently, part of the topic of conversation has been about, you know, our fallout and our reconciliation and everything. Right. And I think back about around those times, and even when we was doing the mixtapes, like, you know, clearly, you know, as you were giving them out, I was selling them. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you know, we were definitely making some good money. Right. And
you know, if you ever, you know, feel the need to just throw me a nice watch or something.
So in hindsight, looking back on it, you know, I feel like, you know, there was a part of me that was feeling like, you know, why are the artists necessarily counting my pockets? Like, what I'm making, you know, they're making in a show a night or per se. You know what I'm saying? Am I not supposed to eat? But I also feel like one of the things I did wrong or I could have done at that time was, here, take this 50. Right. Take this 100.
Right. And it's not too late.
It's not. It's not at all. And you know what I mean? Like, Thankfully, my bank account is good.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Hey, late.
in hindsight, I definitely feel like that could have, you know, it would have just been a nice gesture or appreciation.
What I will say though, bro, I just feel like it was bigger than all of us, and those weren't the conversations that we had. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, if you see me, you know, out in the street giving away, you know, Snowman shirts, and you got a clothing store, and these shirts are in high demand, and people want to buy them. You know what I'm saying? You got a store. That's what you do. So I can't. I didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see that, and you guys had the insight to see that. But again, everything that I've learned throughout my career and throughout this is all about first times. That was the first time for anything, because normally, you know, somebody would have been selling their CDs out of their trunk or whatever, but you had somebody who's pressing up hundreds of thousands of CDs to give away. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to give them away for free anyway, so what does it matter? I think the bigger part and what I love about what we at now is we communicate about these things. And then we have people in the mix that can communicate for us. So by the time you and I sit down and talk, it's kind of already understood, and we just yay or nay it. And I think a lot of that went on in the beginning with a lot of different things, because I was giving away the Snowman shirts, right? But then when I go to Harlem, and they in every store and every window when they're selling them, you know, quick story, I went to the Magic Show with Jeezy one year, and Magic Show is like a trunk show for clothes. It's like huge in Vegas or whatever. And me and Jay-Z was walking the floor, and everybody kept running up to me like, yo, Jeezy, thank you, man, thank you. And I was just like, damn, what are they thanking for? And like Jay was like, what's going on? And one guy goes, man, because Jeezy, man, he did these Snowman shirts, and everybody's selling them. We making so much money. And, you know, and in my mind, I kept thinking Greg Street, because he told me, he's like, man, you should sell the shirts. I was like, no, I just want to give them away. But again, you know, my thing is, my goal was accomplished, right? And that was becoming and getting where I'm at today. But the reality of it is, I wanted people to eat too. So I didn't feel no way about people eating off what I was doing, as long as we had this synergy going together, because a lot of that went on in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And again, I stopped. It wasn't about the money for a long time for me with that. I was just happy to be on. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even calculate it like that. I was like, shit, my money was in duffel bags. I was like, shit, I was just happy to be getting some spin and going in the clubs and people know who I was, and that was my mission. So I never sold a mixtape, so I can't even, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't go out for that. You know, I was gonna give them away until it popped, you know? So there's that. But it's not too late though, just.
Noted. Cannon just did an interview recently too, and he was talking about how when he had did Trap or Die 2, like this was me.
Yeah, that's when we had our thing.
Out.
Yeah, we had our thing.
Taking shots.
Yeah, for y'all know, it was real. Me and DJ Drama, the dynamic duo. You ever seen Batman and Robin just had their day? It was it. He was talking cash shit.
Yeah, he was talking cash shit.
Yeah, he was talking cash shit.
As was I.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, because I was just like, you know, it was just going down. And but which Trap or Die 2 was like amazing.
It was.
Right. It was amazing.
It was.
And I really didn't know he was like, when I started listening to it, I was like, yo, is he talking about drama? I was like, hell yeah. I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Again, bro, like, life is crazy when it comes back full circle.
You didn't egg him on?
Huh?
You didn't egg him on?
No, because when we were sitting down talking, I said on the recession, remember I said on Crazy World, I said something about Barack drama.
It was on
Crazy World, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Or was it on Dream, Made the World Trap or Die as Barack drama?
No, it was I said ad-lib on
Oh, you did.
Crazy World, right?
You did. Yep, you did.
So Don Cannon called me, he's like, yo, you gotta change that shit right now. I was like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? He's like, you can't shout him out. I was like, no, I'm talking about Barack, man.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, cool. So I didn't know it was that serious until I knew it was that serious. But at the end of the day, just like, you know, I know it wasn't gonna go too far, and I know it was like really on some competitive shit.
Yeah. Because originally, remember, I was supposed to do Trap or Die 2.
Yep. Yep.
Because that was when we first reconciled.
Trying to get it together.
Trying to
Yep.
figure it out.
Yep.
And then you
Right.
know,
And
it took us
it
some
was
time.
it was crazy, man. And all again, like mindset, the right people around you. You know, shout out to Lake. You know, you got people around you with a good head on their shoulder.
Absolutely.
They work everything out.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I had a couple dickheads around
right,
me
me
at that
too.
time.
It was like, but that's what happens when
Yeah.
you're not communicating and people get in between the magic.
Right.
You know, they make the friction.
And was, you know, and I think about it too, like when after we went through that,
Right.
and in those years, you know, when we did Real Is Back, I remember being in Miami together,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
our energy, our vibe.
Right, right.
We wound up going on tour with Wiz together.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I was like, damn, like, me and Snow are closer or have a better bond than we ever did.
Right.
You know, as we've grown and matured. And,
right.
you know, like, it was like, you know, through these last however many years after that, it was like we just got closer and closer. Our relationship got better and better and better as grown men.
Right.
And I even look at it like, you know, when we did fall out, it was like that was a first for me, and a lot of first time I was getting money.
Right.
You know,
Right.
first time
Right.
it was success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I agree.
I'm being hard headed and
Right.
stubborn.
Right.
And, you know, we going.
It's
through it.
likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise. I mean, and again, you know, I remember YG and Mustard had some shit going on, and I was like, bro, listen to me, man. If I can give y'all any advice, bro, it's bigger than you two.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through this before, bro.
Right.
Like y'all gotta figure it out. It's the magic.
Real
You can't take the magic away from the people because your ego got the best of you. You know what I'm saying? On whoever side is on, y'all gotta figure it out. And I remember, you know, when we kind of had our situation too, it didn't help anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't even help, like, me. I remember, you know, I won't call nobody's name, but it was like a program director. When me and you had our issue, he had a note on the thing that said, "Don't play Jeezy's music no more." I'm like, what in the hell is going on? Like, in a major station in Atlanta, you're not playing my music because me and my man ain't getting along? That's crazy. But at the same time, it's like full circle, and we our own bosses. That's why we ain't go back on our word. And if you look at where we at now, both successful, we don't really need anything from each other.
For sure.
But we grew together. So that's what makes it dope. We can come to each other and be like, yo, I'm working on my album. You know what I'm saying? Boom. I got a record, I got a verse, I got this, I got that. Or it's just like, you know, the B-side concert. That's fun for us.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell
That's
of a
fun.
time.
But it's just like it brings back memories. Or sitting in there getting ready for the B-side concert and going through all the records and listening to all the, you know, shit we done and just making it through that. And I think that's what it's all about, bro. Like, you know, like you said, bro, like, you know, this is what you call it? What kind of music?
Quality street music.
Quality street music. So I mean, quality street music with quality street people. It's like we've evolved over the years, so we don't have some setbacks, right? And we continue to evolve and we continue to push the ball. You know what I'm saying?
And
And
by
that's-
the way, we should be the example for that too. As
Correct.
we were the blueprint,
right,
we can be the example of,
right.
you know.
And I love that because we came from nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we both have a lot to do with each other's success as far as like how we came in the game.
I wouldn't be
You know
here
what
if
I'm
it
saying?
wasn't for you.
Yeah, likewise. And I love that. And like, it's cool that we can sit back and just like laugh about shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because just like shit, niggas went to jail, niggas went this. Like, it was so much shit that was going on like in one period of time. But look, we came out on time, bro.
You did an event with the Atlanta
Symphony Orchestra.
Orchestra. Shout out to Big Zach.
Yeah.
Outside of the concert, which was incredible,
Right.
one of the dopest moments to see was when Coach K came out
Yes, sir.
and did the opening monologue.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I reached out. We actually got our suits tailored at the same place. So I was like, you know, he was coming through there to pick up a suit. So I was just like, yeah, we should sit down. And we just really chopped it up, man. I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, for what it's worth, you know, just like you and I, when we got in on the project, like Coach was there with me pretty much throughout the whole Thug Motivation process. Even when I lost my voice, he was in the doctor's office with me. You know, so he probably had the brown paper bag, was holding it for me when I paid to get my surgery. But Thug Motivation was our baby, right? And my thing was like, this is our baby. Our baby's about to graduate as parents. You know what I'm saying? This we gotta be proud. This is our baby. Our baby that we sat in the studio and slaved with is about to play live with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra in front of every one of our peers, in front of every astute businessman, every entrepreneur. Like this is the graduation. This is our baby. This is not my baby by myself. Like we raised this child. We got to be there. And he agreed, and we just, we sat there, tripped out, laughed, talked about old times, funny shit, everybody else, but it was just so funny. You know what I'm saying? And we just, it was like, that's what it's about. It's about the evolution, and to me, it was just like that's how you evolve. We came together. Making music, right? And we had, like you said, it's always the first time for everything. So we had our first, right? And so we went through our little thing, but the music brought us back together. And that's what I love about what we do.
That's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was beautiful, man. Shout out to Coach, man. That was a big deal.
Do you have a favorite Gangsta Grillz outside of us?
Outside of us?
Yeah.
I mean, recent, I ain't came front. I've been fucking with Vezo shit. Yeah,
Vezo shit's hard.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Old, I would say, I love Fab joints, and I loved Wayne's mixtape. Yeah.
That's always the conversation. What's the better Gangsta Grillz?
Right.
Trap or Die.
Or Dedication?
Dedication too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if you're a Wayne or Jeezy fan. Like, you can't ask a Jeezy fan that. He'll be like, are you crazy?
Yeah. It's a tough conversation.
This is how I look at it, and I love Wayne. I look at it like this, man. I grew up on Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, like, Wayne was a hot boy. Like, that was the shit I was on. I wanted 2 Rolexes, the bubble out Lexus and all that. So to see him sustain his position in this throughout decades and decades and decades, I tilt my hat to him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely one of the greatest for sure.
Well, one story that I think needs to be told is
the Go Crazy.
The finale is Go Crazy. Okay. How Go Crazy happened, because I actually, it was a T.I. acapella, and I had a T.I. acapella, and I had 2 beat options.
Right.
And I chose the Go Crazy beat to put Tip on. Oh. And I put it on.
So he didn't rap
over
that?
He never rapped to that beat. Wow. Yeah, people don't know that.
Wow.
They think he rapped to that beat. I had an acapella, and I put him on that beat to showcase my man, because I wanted to promote Cannon.
Wow.
And I put that on the tape.
So this is God of the truth. I'm over in my man spot, of course, movie to Shake It the movie. And we sitting in the living room, and we're going through some paper. So I'm gonna be there for a minute. And he was playing the whole Tip shit from top to bottom, right? And he was like playing because this is when him and Flip had their thing, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, damn, this shit hard. Like, he went at him on the whole tape. Like, I'm just listening, like, I'm like breaking it down, because I'm still in my, my rapper mind frame. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And I heard Go Crazy, the beat. Right?
Yep.
And I just played it back and back. And then when I found out Cannon did it, I called him. I was like, yo, can you make me a beat like that? And then he was like, I said, I got this idea. And he's like, why you just want to use that beat? I said, because Tip already rapped on it. He's like, he ain't paid for it. He don't want it. It's not like it's a freestyle. I like, hell yeah, let me get it. So I hit Coach up. They put it together. I got the beat. So I had this idea in my mind for Go Crazy. So I wrote Go Crazy. I was on a trip to New York to do something, and I wrote it on the plane. And I came back, and let me tell you how, God worked. So I came back in Atlanta. I played it for Coach. He was like, yo, this shit's nuts. So I had it, stock, put it away, right? And now we're going through, what's going on at Def Jam, and this is when Kevin leave, right? So when Kevin leave and Jay come, right, I know I got to play my album for Def Jam, the new Def Jam. So I tell Coach, I say, yo, when I go in there, I'm going to box this nigga Jay-Z, I'm going to get him to do a verse. And everybody's like, he'll never do it. I'm just like, I'm telling you, he going to do this one. So we played the whole album, what I had at the time. And Go Crazy was like maybe the 7th song. And I just watched him the whole time. He was just like, You know what I mean? The whole time he was sitting there. And after they're done, everybody clap, you know, Def Jam shit. I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, by the way, I got to get my man Jay on there. And he just like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So time going, a couple months going, and something's going on in L.A. So I'm in L.A. He called me up to the hotel. We sit out on his balcony and shit, just, you know, eating and chilling. And he goes, I'm going to do the record, by the way. I was like, word? He's like, yeah, I'm going to do the record.
So you never brought it back up? He just, okay.
Just waited. He's like, I'm going to do the record, by the way. And
when he said the record, did you know which record?
yeah, I knew it was Go Crazy. So
because he had told you, or just because you knew that was what?
I knew that's the record he liked.
Got you.
And then he was like, because I had 3 verses. He's like, what verse you gonna take off? I was like, are you taking off? I don't, you know what I mean? So he said, you know, he liked the about 18 the hard way verse, and he liked the first verse. So we are gonna take the other one off. So I was doing a radio run in L.A. and Coach called me in the room. He said, I got it. I got it. We went downstairs and played it. Man, I was like, shh, about like the 16th bar, because I'm thinking he gonna give me a 16. He's still going. I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. Because you gotta think, this is my debut album. I done went through everything under the sun, and everybody I know telling me he's not gonna do the record. And he did it. And he gave me like probably one of his hardest verses ever.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I forgot how I told Cannon though, but I hit Cannon.
I remember Coach calling me.
Okay.
I don't know, you might have called Cannon.
Yeah, I think I called Cannon.
Coach called me and said, I got a surprise for y'all.
Yeah.
So just think about how our lives were. Like,
Right.
we went from budding DJs trying to get on in the city to now I'm the hottest mixtape DJ in the country with you.
Right.
My man is the budding producer.
Right.
He first place, man. He gets
Jay-Z.
on the hottest niggas album out, featuring his favorite rapper and Jay-Z. Like,
that was crazy.
All this is happening like
one time.
This can't be happening. It's not
bro.
life.
It was.
I forced him to come to Birthday Bash when you brought Hove out.
Okay.
Because, you know, Cannon don't want to come outside.
Right.
And he's been like that forever.
Right.
Because I remember he was originally even supposed to be your DJ.
Yep.
Because I couldn't do it because I was on the road with Tip.
Right.
Cannon was going to be a DJ.
Right.
And he didn't want to, Cannon shit.
No,
whatever.
shut it down.
Shout my brother. But I made him, he had to come see that moment at Birthday Bash.
That's when I got the title Mr. Birthday Bash. I brought Hove out. He did Go Crazy. And then he looked at me. I knew he felt it. He was just like, I was like, go ahead. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is, I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was the first time it was at Phillips too. Inside.
Yes, it was nuts, bro. But again, you know, my message to anybody listening to the podcast, you know, you got to go with your dreams and, you know, your abilities are. Like, you know, there ain't no right way to do this. It ain't no right path. It ain't no beeline. It ain't none of that. You got to stick with what you feel. And even when adversity comes, you got to deal with it head on, because there's no telling what's on the other side of that. Because throughout my whole career, if you listen to everything that I said and we've been talking about, every idea that I had that I knew in my heart that I would truly get accomplished and would change my life, somebody told me it would never happen. It was the wrong thing to do. From putting out G's Up, Streets is Watching, to giving away Trap or Die with the DVD, to Thug Motivation being a classic when people just thought it was just gonna be a flash in the pan, you know what I'm saying, to getting features that you don't get when you're from the South and you're not established just quite yet. Like, you're not in that top 5 rappers or people that's doing what they do. And even like my marketing strategy of giving away CDs and, you know, doing things unorthodox that people don't see a monetary gain in, so they don't feel like it's gonna work, and just going with your heart. Because right now I can say, again, G's Up, Streets is Watching, Trap or Die was the best decision I've made in my life. Because probably without that, I probably wouldn't even be sitting on the sofa. I'd probably be, you know, with everybody else, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out life. but I stuck to my guns and I kept it solid. And I want to salute you for, you know, rocking with me the whole time and putting your best foot forward and doing what you do best, man, and talking your shit. Cause you know what I'm saying, you know, that dynamic duo, they can't fuck with it, bro.
Nah, they can't.
They cannot.
It was the blueprint.
Yeah, we need to do a documentary, goddamn, Trap or Die, goddamn. We gotta figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
That's next. That's
okay,
next.
say less.
I appreciate you, my brother. I love you for life.
For sure.
We still going. We got 20 years in and another 30 of.
Yeah, we only looking younger, baby. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
And like that, we gone.